Picture this. You're Disney. It's the 90s. You're making some banger movies. Hercules, The Mighty Ducks, Hook, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I could go on and on and on. And then they make the movie of the decade. The Goofy movie, the masterpiece that defined my childhood, and hopefully yours too. This movie was made in 1995. It follows Max and his father Goofy on a road trip across America. Max, the son of Goofy, lives an average high schooler life, the butt of many jokes and an awkward presence all around. At the end of the school year, he does something no other sane person would do in high school. He dances and sings, launching his popularity and eventually asking his crush, Roxanne, to go to a Powerline screening party. However, swayed by the men in his life, Goofy is convinced his son is going to become a cold-blooded criminal and decides to take him on a road trip to go fishing. But Max and the no reason of a character this sexy in a kids movie, Roxanne, can't go on their date. Max fibs and tells Roxanne that his dad knows Powerline and is forcing him to go to the concert. Sweet Cakes over here believes him, and now we're all wondering how Max is going to secure the bag on Honey Buns over here. So Max and Mickey Mouse's friend go on a road trip across the country. Goofy shows him the greatest things the road has to offer, a main attraction like Lester's Possum Park, an animatronic song and dance theater. I think the creators of FNAF owe Disney some money, because the Goofy movie did it first. Goofman tries fishing with Max, showing him the perfect cast. None of Goofball's attempts at getting his son to enjoy the road work, so he goes to his best friend for help, Pete the Child Toucher. They meet Bigfoot, and the bond between Goof Guy and Max slowly grows. Max, however, is still needing to get to the Powerline concert to make sure Roxanne doesn't leave him. He stumbles across the sacred map in the glove box. Max reroutes the map to the Powerline concert and is left shooken by the grave sin he has just committed. This scene is one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie. This part encapsulates the perfect amount of intensity, comedy, anxiety, and doubtfulness. Max is luckily put in charge of the map by his father. This decision by Goofy is convenient for the story, but also believable because of the events which occurred beforehand. Max is now in charge of where they stop. He decides to go to the amusement parks, beaches, and a monster truck rally. However, seeing that Goofy isn't having as much fun, Max decides to visit the great attractions like Carl's Amazing House of Yarn and a mime, which they murder in cold blood. The relationship between the two tightens, and they are both visibly happier. Until finally, the truth is revealed. Pete the Child Toucher and his son, Pete Jr., meet with Goofy and Max throughout the movie. Pete, of course, always has something to say about Goofy and Max. However, Pete overhears Max talking about how he changed the map. This is a perfect chance for Pete to tell Goofy how bad of a parent he is and how he should have just gone with the advice which Pete said. However, Goofy doesn't believe Pete. The bond between him and Max has grown, and he believed in his son. This scene is heartwarming because it shows how much he trusts and loves Max. However, Goofy still goes to the car to check, and lo and behold, the truth is revealed. The movie continues. Goofy, now knowing the truth about what Max has done, is disappointed. The thing is, he thinks of a final test to see if Max really is the kid that Goofy sees him as. As we continue along the road trip, there comes a crossroads, a fork in the road. Max, the navigator, must choose which way to go. Will they go to LA, where the Powerline concert is being held, or will they go to the fishing spot Goofy and his dad went on when he was a kid? As they quickly approach the junction, Goofy continues to say to Max with a disappointed, worried look to just follow his directions on the map. Max, overcome with this decision of whether or not to lie to his father. But he needs to secure the bag on Roxanne. He quickly, with a lot of effort, tells Goofy to turn left, bringing their journey to LA, but losing all of Goofy's trust. Goofy then goes on a drive towards LA, fuming until finally stopping the car. Goofy confronts Max about where they are going, and Max argues back that he never wanted to go on this trip in the first place. While they argue, the car slowly rolls down the road, Max and Goofy running after it, eventually catching up. The car continuing to go, and Goofy and Max continue to argue until eventually the car breaks through the guardrail and rolls off the cliff with Goofy and Max in it. As the car slowly drifts in this river to an unknown destination, Goofy and his son talk about the struggles they are having with each other. Goofy just wanting to be part of Max's life, and Max wishing to be accepted in his peer group. They both eventually make up, embracing and loving each other, finally telling each other the truth about how they both feel, until finally they find out where they are being taken. A waterfall, a drop to their demise.
A waterfall! Waterfall!
Max and Goofy trying desperately to save each other until Goofy saves Max, but falls to his demise in the process. Max uses the move his father taught him, the secret cast, the move Goofy's father taught him as a child. The perfect cast showing us as viewers that Goofy has taught and influenced Max. Max saving Goofy, they go on their way. As the story goes on, Max tells Goofy about the situation he is in, the girl he likes, and that he doesn't know what to do. Goofy, being a gangsta, breaks into the Powerline concert, eyes set on getting Max onto the stage. They go through this scene being chased and almost being caught by security, but eventually making their way on stage. Goofy and Max dancing, singing, and we see that Roxanne has seen Max on TV. Max's plan being a success, Goofy and Max's relationship coming together, Max's plan coming to fruition, and an overall win for everyone. This movie was a hidden gem. Few people watched it. It really flew under the radar. I'd say this movie was one of the best animated movies in the 90s and affected me, my brother, and many others, I hope, in a positive way. This movie had everything you could ask for: a stellar soundtrack, remarkable story, animation that still holds up today, and lots of comedy for all ages. If you haven't watched this movie, or you have watched this movie when you were a child, I recommend giving it a second look. Let's just say this movie, well, it was a little bit goofy.
There's nothing that I wouldn't do if it was getting you to notice. All I need is a chance, or second thought, a second glance will prove I got whatever it takes. It's a piece of cake.